had seen the boys anytime between Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, around 5 o'clock, on through Friday afternoon.
3 darling boys missing after a court-ordered visitation with their dad for Thanksgiving. The boys' parents going through a very bitter divorce. The dad says he gave the boys to a friend named Joanne so he could go commit suicide. But cops say they're not even sure that Joanne exists, and there was no relationship between Joanne and his father. Cops are now working on the theory that he may have dumped the boys somewhere. Let us pray that these precious children are okay some way, somehow. Christine, North Carolina, your question or thought?
Good evening, Jane. I would like to say that the fact that this was a court-ordered visitation is ridiculous. When you said at the beginning of the show, we have to stop the violence against children, judges have to look at restraining orders, obvious signs of violence and displays of violence by these fathers, and they should not get to see their children. When are the children's rights going to be the ones important? I find it ridiculous. How many cases across the country of fathers murdering their children to get back at the women leaving them do we have?
Mark Eiglarsh, first of all, he hasn't even been described as a suspect. He is in a mental ward right now, and cops are talking to him. But the caller is making a valid point. A couple of months ago, he reportedly took these kids down to Florida, even though he had the legal right because they weren't divorced yet. It should set off warning bells to the court system.
Well, the first thing I'd like to know is whether any of the domestic violence allegation involved any abuse in front of the children. If, in fact, it did not, and he was otherwise deemed a very good role model to the kids, it's impossible for anyone to foresee that the acts of domestic violence against the mom, which did not occur allegedly in front of the kids, somehow would lead to him doing something this horrible, this tragic to those children. And I don't know that this could have been prevented based on those facts.
Well, here's this dad who told the cops he handed over his kids to some woman so he would be free to commit suicide. And he ends up with merely a broken ankle. And now he's locked up in a mental ward. Now, this is fascinating. Let's take a closer look at this dad, John Skelton. He's going through this divorce. His wife has custody of the kids. Did he feel, perhaps, that he would never see his kids again, so he made up this story about handing over the kids to a friend? And then let's look at this message on what's supposed to be his Facebook page. Quote, "I love my wife very much. My God, and Tanya," that's the wife's name, "forgive me." So, Casey Jordan, criminologist, why is he asking for forgiveness? That is the scariest.
I think because it is, and it's because he feels like he has done something wrong. And I don't think that what he did wrong was give them to an imaginary woman. The whole idea that he says he attempted suicide, we don't even know if that's accurate. He was decompensating on Thanksgiving Day. It's a tough day. It's a family day. He wasn't living the Norman Rockwell Thanksgiving life. And whatever happened to him that day, he got through Thursday, but something overnight, who knows, maybe the memories, there could be drugs and alcohol involved. We don't know. But his mother, who insists he's not a monster, should go to that psych ward and talk to him and tell him to tell the truth. It's your best chance of getting the actual truth.
Panel, hold tight. By the way, Casey Anthony back in court, but